Well, welcome. Welcome here to our Wednesday Energy Talk on Skype. This is live and everybody's invited to come. It's free. We do this as part of our Sacred Self-Healing community here that does daily online meditations. And this is all available here on Skype. Now, today, the day before the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are getting ready for our Connect with Your True Self free energy transmission, monthly energy transmission, tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern US time. So if you haven't signed up yet, go to the link in the video description and participate in this really big event. What do we do there? We connect with our true self. This is an inward journey. There's a 1-hour energy session with a prompt, and then we talk about it right after. Yeah, I give a little bit of a session reflection, and the energy healers that facilitated the session with me get to talk and reflect and answer your questions as well. But also, something else is going to happen tomorrow here at transCODES, and that is the 12 days of sacred self. This is a tradition that I started 9 years ago. Yeah, I often do this for the holidays. That's a 12-day series. Last year, I did an advent calendar. I did a 31-day series, yeah, that guides you through these really auspicious times. As so many energies are coming up, and where so many things in regard to our relationships, in regard to our finances, in regard to our collective come up for us. And so these 12 days, yeah, this year I will use for obviously reflecting on some of these spiritual impulses that are coming in right now. Yeah, we will do a 5-minute mini alignment, yeah, like a mini meditation together every day at 12 p.m. noon here, Florida, Eastern US time, live. And we will, and this is the part that I'm very excited about, use a few minutes to channel, to tune into our spiritual perception day by day, month by month. So each day will reflect the energy of the next months to come. In other words, day 1, we're going to tune into the January 2024 energies. On day 2, we're going to tune into the February 2024 energies, and so forth. So by the end of these 12 days of sacred self, we've created, due to the consciousness in us and our ability to tune into divine Wi-Fi via our heart, we are creating something like a year forecast. All right. So I'm going to use the material that we channel together here with everybody who comes, yeah, to reflect on that in the forecast for 2024. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see that I've already commented on the incoming 2024 energies, and where I give a few recommendations as to how to work and prepare for them. Also, where this is going, not just in 2024, but also 2025. Yeah. And this is the part here that I want to address today. Because as we are heading into these solstice energies right now, yeah, this is already happening sort of the 2-3 days before and 2-3 days after. So it's this whole week right now that marks the shift change. Yeah? Solstices or shift changes in our planetary cycles. Yeah, if you will, it is technically, it's the official beginning of winter and the official beginning of summer in the Southern Hemisphere, marked by the longest night here for us in the north, or the longest day in the south. So we are orienting ourselves to the light, the light that comes from the sun, which is the life giver. It is the power in our system here, in our solar system, that provides the weather and all these different rhythms and dynamics for all the planets in this solar system. And during the 12 days, as we are working with these spiritual impulses, we will also look into spiritual hierarchies and which of these powers are related to the sun. So this is all a very, very interesting stuff. It is the holistic perspective on what it is that we are exposed to. Some of you, those of you who are in the Sacred Self-Healing community, have gone through an extensive workshop series this year where we have reflected on many different aspects, relationships, as well as our needs and wants, as well as our manifestation powers, and also what we see basically discussed in our societies as controversies, such as climate change, such as the alien discussion. And we will continue this in 2024. But the reason why I mentioned this is that there were many occasions where I brought in the importance of looking at the shifts and changes with our sun. The sun is a higher hierarchy of a spiritual power in our system here, and therefore also influences a lot of these what we call collective energies that are affecting us on a day-to-day basis. Now, those collective energies that I report about here in these energy talks, you probably best advised if you look at them as weather conditions. They're not necessarily things that directly impact your actions or your choices, but they can have an effect on your body, on the way you feel, on the way you think. And therefore, when it comes to, self-mastery, they can have, an influence on your motivation or on your awareness, on your ability to see truth. Just like how a rainy day can affect your mood as opposed to a sunny day or a hot or a cold day. So collective energies are always there and they fluctuate based on the collective unconscious, the culmination of all the people's energies, plus the Earth's energy, the planet Earth, plus the sun's energy, and many more levels that we are going to accustom ourselves here during the next 12 days. So I want you to understand that when you are trying to tune in and work with yourself, that there's many different layers of influences, and it's not always you, and it's not always just what happens in your life. It's just that the translation in your life is unique to you. And the better you know yourself, the better you understand your own cycles, your own rhythms. Well, let's say the more conscious you become of the influences that are working on you, and that allows you to free yourself, to liberate yourself from these outer influences and become more internalized, as we're saying this. So being dependent on external energy obviously makes you much more susceptible to these outer cycles. Being more centered and more understanding of your inner cycles allows you to, observe the outer cycles. You can say, oh, today is a rainy day, but that doesn't mean that it has to affect me. If I feel a little gloomy today, then you can say to yourself, oh, yeah, the weather is affecting me, but I'm not mistaking that as like a sign or something mystical or something like I'm getting sick or something. I'm just going to go with it. Yeah, I'm just going to recognize that it's a gloomy day today. And so my, motivation levels are maybe a little lower. So understand that what I'm trying to tell you here is really the demystification of all of this. When I report about collective energies, especially when I use them to do forecasting, okay, you can take that information with neutrality. You can say, oh, okay, so we're going to have a few fiery days, we're going to have a few cold days, we're going to have a few gloomy days. Yeah, and that's that. Okay, that does not have to affect you as in like something from the outside controlling you. So the higher your consciousness level, the more you're going to be able to see all this holistically. You're going to see all the different influences, all the different rhythms, and you're going to understand them better, and therefore become able to make better choices, yeah, in how to deal with them. Winter solstice energies always bring in this really, really strong impulse to internalize, to go inward. And, if you think of it traditionally, yeah, where, these traditions, these celebrations, these holidays were originally celebrated, yeah, in Europe, in the Middle East. So around this time, yeah, of the winter solstice, it's pretty dark out. Yeah, so if you come from Iceland, like myself, yeah, which is very high up there, close to the Arctic Circle, it barely even gets bright. Maybe it's sort of dawnish for like 2 hours, but for the most part, it's pretty dark. And so it is only natural that when it's dark out, that we, go inward and focus on our feelings and, on, the things that we can do in interaction with other people. Likewise, yeah, if you're in the southern hemisphere and it's all bright out, yeah, and the sun doesn't set until 10 p.m. or so, you're much more likely to have more life force and wanting to go out more. You're much more externalized, yeah, in that time. So earlier I said around the solstice times, there's always a shift change, and this shift change leads to sort of this veil of hierarchies, yeah, these different powers that are operating on these different levels in the universe to open up a little bit. And it's the time that we really want to use for visioning, for tapping into the spiritual world, because it's easier, yeah, around these times, the solstices especially, but also the equinoxes. It's a lot easier to tap into your own visioning. For the last 3 weeks, I have been asking you to get out your vision boards, to review, to refine, to update, to upgrade your vision boards, yeah, which is a coaching technique that helps you to stay focused, that helps you to know what to go for in times of distraction or in times where you go a little low in your energy. And therefore, the the tapping into your spiritual vision can allow you to come up with even more detailed, yeah, and perhaps also visual, although I have mentioned this on many occasions, it's not really about visuals. Yeah, so visioning is a term, especially spiritual visioning, that has to do with tapping into your heart, tapping into your feeling soul, yeah, and experiencing things, feeling things, yeah, and they can sometimes help you to refine something. Think of Christmas. Christmas is a very good example. Okay, so you have, the Christmas time, and there's a certain procedure to this. But apart from all of that, let's say you don't celebrate Christmas, yeah? Let's say you are of a different faith, or you just don't want to engage in this. You will still pick up on, those energies around this, yeah? Like the time of coming together, of gift giving, of thinking of one another, or even when it comes just to your own life, of feeling into your own life, feeling into, what the next year will bring. It's a much more internalized time, yeah, and on both hemispheres, that is. And, when you use these times to tune in as to, what you want to focus on, what your needs and wants are, what your goals are, and so forth, you can, produce something that is much more refined, yeah, than if you just go, let's say, by the material aspects of your life. Yeah, of course, you can do a vision board and, you know, paste some money on there and say, I want to have so and so much on my bank account, and I want to have a house, and I want to have a job and car, blah, blah, blah. That's the old style of, success coaching, is, to hone yourself in to what it is that you want. But here, within the sacred self-healing, the spiritual context, we want to use our spiritual organs to tune into how we want to feel, about ourselves, about the world that we are in, about what it is that we can bring into this world, how we can express ourselves, and also what we will leave behind. Yeah, those are much deeper values, okay? And they need to have a time and a space in our calendar, and this is the time right now. Yeah. So I hope that you will use the 12 days of sacred self starting tomorrow on the winter solstice, December 21st, 12 p.m. Eastern time, yeah, to tune more, yeah, internally into what it is that you want to bring into expression here during your lifetime. Now, when it comes to reflecting on collective energies, and with my energy calendar, yeah, you can see this on my website. You can also print this out, where I color code the days. Yeah, that has to do with the intensity levels, and on which level of self these energies are primarily working. When we look at the energy calendar, we see that for the solstice itself, so today is a purple day. That means there's a lot of spiritual impulses, and maybe it may make you feel that you want to check out a little bit. Yeah, you feel a little tired maybe, or you just have to step away from all those material things for a little bit. Tomorrow is a pretty red day, and that is because we're heading into a time now, guys, that has nothing to do with the solstice that I talked about here a few minutes ago. Yeah, where things are coming to a head, where truth is being revealed, and this has been going on for a couple of years, and people are getting tired of this. People are getting tired of not being able to trust in anything anymore, and there is all this repressed anger, yeah, this like sort of feeling of having been fooled around or having been betrayed, that is now coming into expression. Yeah. So if you look at next week, okay, almost all next week is red and dark red, which means that it coincides, yeah, this expression of anger and also righteousness. Yeah, it comes together with, this sort of raw impulse to step into action. So what I foresee for this next week, holistically, is that we will have something like an eruption. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the volcano, the lava eruption in Iceland here in a moment. The eruption of something that has been itching and crusting for a while. We could possibly see something like a terrorist attack, in countries like the United States, because we still have sort of the declaration of war. Yeah, so that has been swinging within the underground. It's been the undercurrent here for the last 2 months. Still needs to come out, and I predict that this will happen around 27th, 28th of December. Now, sometimes, because politics and PR and so forth don't always represent what is really going on, but I can assure you that these times right after Christmas to the end of the year, so basically next week around this time, going to be very, very intense on this collective level. Now, on a personal level, these energies can also trigger domestic violence. The lashing out, the frustration, sort of after the high, the down after the high. Christmas being the high with lots of expectations and lots of projections. But the sudden, unexpected lashing out, that is something that those of you who live in relationships or emotionally unsafe environments should keep in mind. That we have these energies coming in next week, and they will accompany us throughout the end of the year, where finally, things are going to be on the surface. Now, speaking of surface, some of you may have seen my announcement yesterday. The eruption of the volcano in Iceland, in the south of Iceland, right there, where the North American and European plates are drifting apart, is finally happening. So there's a 4-kilometer long fissure, and it has produced a spectacular view of, how the earth does things. And what happens when something rips open, when something gets pulled apart. A 150 meter high lava wall was created. And guys, this has symbolic meaning for us. We are the outer expression of inner spiritual processes, and especially those of higher hierarchies. The planet is a higher hierarchy than we are. Even if you don't know anything about spiritual hierarchies, you can tell it's a bigger body. It has a lot more power. It's a lot bigger force than we are. So the earth ripping apart, and especially significant here, the North American and the European plate, symbolizes the rift that we are going to see in the next 2 years between old allies. This is something that I've commented on throughout the year, this year already, and I said there are new alliances forming and old alliances will fall apart. It is still very difficult for us to imagine that, but there are movements here, and I can observe this in the spiritual world, in the etheric, that will drift Americans further apart from the rest of the Western world. So this is real, guys. This is fully materializing right now on a higher level of spiritual hierarchy. And then it will trickle down into the lower level. So 3D, where we are mostly operating, is a lower level. And so that is something that you can see as a theme almost. So if I put these two things into context with another, these suddenly erupting, violent, outlashing energies here in these next 2 weeks, if you will, and the tearing apart of the Western world. The Americans need visas to enter Europe starting January 1st, by the way, in case you don't know that yet. So anybody with an American passport traveling to Europe and the Schengen countries will need to apply for a visa now. Yeah, is something that is already underway. Okay, what this will do for us, how this will change world politics and economy, the economy, I will report about as we go. But for now, understand that, these two impulses that are coming in, the drifting apart, the destruction of something that was formally allied. Yeah, this could also be a marriage, for example. Yeah, to make place for something new. And this new is the other impulse, the spiritual impulse. Yeah, the impulse to look at things with more truth, with more integrity, with more consciousness. So it is these old things, these old structures that have to be taken down before new structures can be formed. Yeah, nature does this all the time. Just think of the butterfly. We often use the butterfly as a symbol for metamorphosis, for the transformation of something, not just the linear growth. Yeah, like say us mammals. Yeah, we are born, well, we're not mammals, but mammals and humans, we are born, tiny little, and then we, just grow and grow and grow, and then different parts of us grow, and other parts of us start to decay. That's pretty linear, but if you look at some species that actually goes through a metamorphosis, and we do too, but this happens on a cellular level. This happens before we are born, in our mother's womb. But there is a destruction that occurs for something new to happen. So let's look at the caterpillar, for example, that has to turn into a chrysalis before it can turn into a butterfly. And the chrysalis is literally the dissolving, the decay or the destruction of the previous form, which was the caterpillar. And then inside of that, parts are staying the same, parts are being used. So some aspects of the butterfly already form in the caterpillar stage. All right, but the form needs to be destroyed in order to bring forward this beautiful butterfly being. And that is how I would recommend you look at world politics. You look at all these events that are going to happen here within these next, not just 2 weeks, but also the next 2 years, before we can move into, let's say, the expression of this new form. But internally, we are all going into this chrysalis state, where our true powers are starting, to take on a new form. I often call this process the etherization or the spiritualization of our being. And this is an impulse that is arriving with all humans right now. So within these next 2 years, we're going to experience not just a little bit of a change, we are going to witness a massive transformation, from caterpillar to butterfly. Okay, and look at these 2 years as the chrysalis state, where these old forms all need to dissolve, for this chemical process to happen. So this is, the more holistic view on the times that we are in, and I hope that these analogies or these examples help you to understand, why, for example, I'm so positive about this, because I do understand that, for things to transform, the old things have to be let go of. And this is something that we practice here in the Sacred Self-Healing community pretty much every day. With every meditation, with every process that we do, yeah, we're allowing, all the old crusty part that is no longer serving us, yeah, to dissolve so that we can find a new form. Yeah, so that we can form new neural pathways, that we can form a healthier and more authentic and more congruent self. Yeah, because that's the foundation for us to grow into our true powers, into what we are meant to be. We are meant to be a butterfly. We are meant to be a fully grown, mature spiritual being. Yeah. And that is the transformation that our collective is going through. And the outer conditions, the outer influences, yeah, even through, crises or, things that appear as destructive at first, yeah, help us to accomplish that. They help us, yeah, to form new insights, new ideas, new ways, yeah, of conducting our life, of forming societies, yeah, and bringing forth higher expressions of our society, higher expressions, yeah, of nations, higher expressions of economy, higher expressions of, well, legal and political and, economical and environmental guidelines, yeah, that lead to a healthier society. So keep all that in mind, that even in a moment of destruction, of loss, of having to let go of something, that is just the preparation for a bigger transformation. If you can hold that in mind, then you can see how all these things that challenge your ego help you to grow. Many of us will also feel, and this is part of this, spiritually oriented community, will also feel the need to find new friendships, new relationships. Yeah, so the next 2 years are all about healing relationships, the relationship with ourselves, the relationship with our friends, and also our partnerships. Yeah, those are also alliances, and sometimes old alliances, yeah, have to go in order for us to form healthier relationships. But I can assure you that starting with the middle to the end of January, things are going to, well, they're not going to slow down, but they're going to feel easier. The pace of events next year is going to be mind-boggling. Things are going to happen very, very, very fast. Yeah, this transformation is now really, really speeding up, but it's no longer going to feel so gut-wrenching like it did in 2023, where it all just felt like a huge, big powder keg building up. Yeah, this marinating in things. Yeah, this sort of molasses type of feeling, that's going to change here and become much lighter in 2024. Yeah, but we have a task, and that task is to heal our relationships. And I hope that I can be part of your journey there, that I can be a guide for you, be it through the energy sessions that we are facilitating here at transCODES, the Energy Training Club, which is a regular participation in these energy sessions, and energy coaching on a personal level, all these wonderful courses. Check out the Love Integrity course, which is all just about the energetics of relationships. Yeah, check out the new energy healing practitioner course that is starting with this new semester in January. Yeah, these are all ways how I try to help you or assist you, yeah, in your personal transformation to find your higher expression. So, last thing before I let you go, don't forget the Connect with Your True Self energy healing and training session tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern US time, where we are specifically and directly tuning into these solstice energies. Yeah, where the veil of the spiritual and physical is so thin, yeah, that you can really connect with your true self. And at 12 p.m. starting tomorrow, we are going through these holidays, yeah, the reignition of your inner light, yeah, on a daily basis, every noon here, Eastern Florida time, 30 minutes roughly, yeah, tuning into the energies of the day, aligning our energies with a 5-minute mini meditation and tuning into the energies of 2024 month by month. So I hope that this helps you guys to understand yourself better and to place yourself in this transformation process, like where you are at and where you are going. It's very important now that you create your own marching orders, that you create your own vision of where you or what you want to transform into. I often call this who you want to live this life as. Yeah, as authentically, integrous, and graciously, yeah, your higher expression as possible. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Please, if you have any questions, use the chat, yeah, to comment or to ask questions anytime. I see you tomorrow at noon, and then again at 5 p.m. for our Connect with Your True Self energy session. Bye bye, everyone.